Hello everyone and welcome to this demo about Declarative API and Declarative API product, two new capabilities supported by the CP4I Platform Navigator Operator starting with version 2023.2.1. In the first release they were deployed in the Red Hat OpenShift container platform, and then the two new custom resources are now also visible and present in the platform UI, which is one of the platform CP4I Navigator Operator operand since version 2023.2.1-3. This demo's agenda is the following. I will talk about what these two new instances are, I will show you what they are capable of, and I will also show you their full CRUD lifecycle. You can see here in front of you, I have the platform UI with some instances deployed ahead of this demo. So I have a standalone product and a standalone API, and then I have two other instances, a set of API and products, but then this time managed by the integration assemblies. So you can see for these ones, I don't have anything under their overflow menu because they can only be managed by the parent assembly. Whereas for these ones, I do have the edit and delete option. A little bit about what they are. A declarative API is a custom resource that allows you to create API Connect APIs using a single YAML file. Whereas the declarative API product is a custom resource that allows you to create API Connect products using a single YAML file. So you can see they have these types, declarative API and declarative API products. They have no version. They are not versioned by anything. The creation time, you can see most of them were created 2 hours ago ahead of this demo. You can see their status within the platform UI. And then a new feature, you can also see an update associated labels with them. You cannot update these ones because they are managed, but then if I'm going on the standalone ones, yeah, you can add a label or you can update the currently existing ones. So let's go ahead and get going with deploying another integration assembly, but this time live with you so that you see how the process looks like from the deployment perspective for the platform UI. And then I'll show you some other options and features that we have here. So I'm going to go ahead and click create. I have here some multiple options. These are the standalone instances, declarative API and declarative API product creation cards, as we call them. I'm just going to go with assembly for now. And then on the next page, I get to see a selection of templates, and I'm just going to go with a blank canvas. I don't want my assembly to be pre-filled in with any other specifications, so I'm just going to go blank for now. So I'm going to start by adding the product. In the latest release, 2023.4.1, you can see that we have a canvas as well option in this creation experience. So apart from the YAML view and the UI form that were there in previous releases, now we have a canvas option which aims at showing a visual representation of what the assembly children are and how they are configured and related to each other. So let's go ahead and double click on Declarative API product. And then that adds a node in the canvas. Once I double click on the node, I can configure this one. I'm just going to call it Vlad product, just like that. I'm going to fill in its share section, so I'm just going to go with the mandatory options. This is a secret that I originally created ahead of this demo. I also have an organization in API Connect already set up, as well as a catalog. And then I'm going to put this product into a state of staged. And then I'm presented in the definition section with the text that this definition section can only be edited from the YAML view. So I'm just going to switch to the YAML view next and show you how this looks like. So you can see the values are valid are already in here. For the definition, let's give this product title. So I'm just going to give it Vlad product title. And then I'm just going to give it the name, Vlad name. And then the plan approval, let's set it to actually true. Yeah, the default plan. Yeah, everything looks good so far. So I'm happy with that. I'm just going to hit update so that the state is preserved within the canvas. And there you go. This product is already linking in the canvas to the APIM credential secret, which is the secret that I actually referenced within the custom resource. Up next, let's create the declarative API. So I'm just going to click on that. And you can see almost as instantly, there was another connection created between the product and the API. I will talk about it, what it means and what it actually did a bit later on. Let's go ahead and edit the API. Now this time, instead of double clicking, I'm just going to hit this little edit pencil. So I'm just going to call this Vlad's API. In the share section, I'm just going to put in API and credential secret, which is the one that I previously configured, the main demo organization. And for the definition section, this time I'm getting the option of filling it in the form view. I'm just going to set this URL, which I pre-configured ahead of this demo. And then everything looks good. I'm just going to go in the YAML view once more just to check it. Yeah, that's fine. And I'm just going to hit update. And you can see another thing that happened once I did that was that the API is now referencing the API and credential secret. So a line was drawn between these two instances. And you can see it's linking to the exact same secret, which the product is linking. So that's why you see all of these links within the canvas. Earlier on, I showed you that once I added an API, a link was drawn from the product to the API. And that is because if I'm going to the product, and I'll just show you the YAML view quickly, under spec APIs, I have an API name, Vlad's API, which is linked to this product. And because I call this Vlad's API, let's keep this in sync and call this Vlad's product. So I'm just going to check this one more time. Yeah, it looks good. Update. So this has preserved the state within the canvas, but it hasn't done anything on the cluster yet. Let's check the main assembly. So I'm just going to quickly check the main assembly code, the YAML view actually. So I'm just going to go and accept the license because the license now is managed by the parent. You need to accept it at the top level and not within each individual children. And then the product, yeah, this looks good. And then the API, that looks good. And then you can see the name of the API on line 50, Vlad's API, is referenced within the product on line 46 under spec APIs, and then the name of the API. So this all looks good to me. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit create. And in a matter of seconds, I get the notification that this instance is being provisioned. So it's gone ahead and started provisioning my instance called IA Canvas within OpenShift Container Platform. I'm just going to go ahead and show you that. So I have here a list of all of my operators. I'm just going to go with the IBM Cloud Pak for integration. Platform UI is the operand that I've just shown you. And then the integration assembly section, I do have an IA Canvas now. And I do have a blocked condition because the product in the Vlad namespace with the name has a message of the API CR Vlad's API namespace Vlad does not exist. That is fine because that API is just being provisioned. So we're just going to give it some time and come back to this a bit later on to show you how it has performed. I'm just going to refresh this page. And here we have it. The integration assembly has been successfully provisioned. I have here the Vlad's API, which I deployed with you during this demo live, and then I have the Vlad's product. So what happens here is that I have a top level parent that I'm going to just go ahead and hit edit, and you can see I'm being taken to the exact same view. I have a product which references a credential secret. I have an API which references the same credential secret, and then there's also a link between the product and the API, which can be seen by this line. Now we can go through the UI form of the assembly. And under advanced, you will see the managed integrations that I just showed you in the canvas. And then also in the YAML section, you will see exactly the same YAML view with some additional fields added because this was already created by Kubernetes. You can see the managed fields and other sections as such, but then you also see what we earlier on provisioned together, the product and the API. So this is how you initially instantiate these instances. I'm just gonna go into the API Connect UI now that you can access. Actually, I'm just gonna hit back now. If I am accessing the API Connect UI by clicking this link, I will be presented with this sort of view. So once I go to manage catalogs, I'm gonna go in the main demo catalog that I set up earlier on. And then under catalog settings and under portal, I do have a link that takes me to the portal in API Connect, which is the publicly facing catalog of products which are marked as published in API Connect. So if I'm now going API products in this catalog, you can see I have absolutely no API products because the product that I just created is just in the state staged, if you remember in the spec. So even if I'm refreshing this page, there's absolutely nothing in here. If I'm going back to my IA canvas and I'm going to edit it, and in this product, I want to change its state from the stage state to the published. I'm going to update this so that it saves the internal state within the canvas, and then I'm going to update the top level parent. This is going to update the product within the integration assembly. And I'm just going to wait a little bit for any other status updates. It looks like there's nothing, which is good. So I'm just going to edit this again to see if my changes went through. So yeah, the state is now published. So I'm just going to close this and go back here and go back to my catalog. And in a matter of seconds, I should be able to see that API product that I deployed via an integration assembly popping up in this UI. And here it is. And I have the Bookshop API in terms of APIs, and then I have my plan and everything else that I set up via the integration assembly. This is pretty much everything that I wanted to show you. I also can show you the delete section, which is exactly the same as any other instances. You're just going to click the overflow menu for the instance which you're aiming to delete. And then you're going to hit delete. This pop-up is asking you for the name of the instance to double confirm that you're definitely sure that you want to delete this instance. And then once you're filling in the name, you're just asked to delete permanently. And once you hit OK, that instance will go from your view and you will start being deleted from Kubernetes. And that's it.